Hi guys, and welcome back. Today I'm in this 2000 Chevy Blazer. Have a check engine light on, and you can hear that it's misfiring. Now that check engine light is on, and from time to time it'll even flash as you're driving. Gas mileage went down significantly, and it doesn't have any power.
Now in the tech notes it says that P0300 code means that the cylinder 3 is misfiring or is randomly misfiring, and it says to start checking for intake leaks, and if no leaks are found, the next step is to replace the spark plug on cylinder 3. If the problem persists, more tests are needed to be done to diagnose the problem. Now I have the website down below that you can check for other causes. I used the timing light to check on how the cylinder was firing, and it was definitely misfiring. Also at night I sprayed a little water on the spark plug wires and found them sparking all over the place. So I went out, I bought a set of spark plugs and wires. Now as you can see, there's very limited space to work here. And looking at these plugs, there's really no way to get to these plugs from the top. Looking underneath, I took the wheel off just to make it easier to video. That number 3 plug is behind the steering column. Before we get started, I can't emphasize safety enough. You see I have the car up on a jack, and I have 2 jack stands. I have the back wheels chucked, both of them chucked. Car's not on a hill this time, so I have that to my advantage. But again, have your car secure before you get under it. Tools you're going to need are a flashlight, a spark plug socket, a ratchet, a couple of different extensions, and this universal knuckle over here to get to the plugs that are a little difficult to reach. Also, on the back of this spark plug socket, you could use a wrench. So if you can't get the ratchet in, you might be able to use a wrench to turn it. Once it's pried loose, you can finish turning it out by hand. Now these plugs come gapped, but I check them anyway. It just takes a couple of seconds, and these gauges come in various sizes. Just make sure you have the one that you need. Now besides this, if you have a spark plug wire remover, that's great. If not, you can use a needle nose plier. I have a couple of long ones here to reach in. And this is to pull fuel lines off. But they're great for the wires also. If you get one that's stuck on there. And you'll need a screwdriver sometimes to pry those wires off. If you use this, when you go to take the wires off the next time, you won't have problem pulling them out. And this anti-seize, I just put a little bit on the plugs. This way the next time I have to pull the plugs out, I won't have difficulty getting them out. I recommend you change one wire at a time, but it wouldn't hurt to have a wiring diagram just in case things get messed up. This will save you a lot of grief. If you can't find one online, make one up before you start taking the wires out. You can see I'm holding this flap up by this clamp. Even from underneath through the wheel well, there was no way for me to loosen that spark plug. I could get the socket on it, but I couldn't get the ratchet on it or an extension or that knuckle. So what I did was to turn the steering wheel until this bolt was facing up. Then I was able to loosen this bolt and pull the steering column out, which gave me the room I needed to get to that spark plug. With the steering column disconnected, you see it here, I can lift it out of the way, and it gives me just enough room to get to that plug. After looking at this a little bit more, I realized I was going to have to take off the air filter and the whole connection going right up to the carburetor. There's a vacuum line back here you have to take out. There's a couple electrical connections. You want to be careful not to snap them. I took the whole piece out as one unit. It just gives you a little bit more room to get your hands down in there. Now this is where the air cleaner goes in. I had to pull this out. There was only one nut holding it on right here, and two of these tabs sticking to a rubber grommet. Now you can route the wires from the distributor cap down to the plugs. Once you have the plugs in, routing the wires is a little easier, putting them back together. After all, you just took it apart, you know how everything goes in. It does take some patience though. The work area is really tight to get into. You want to make sure your wires are nice and tight, that you have them locked down where they have to be. They're not touching any of the manifolds. One thing I want to point out, before you can get to this bolt, there's a plastic cover that goes around it. It just snaps together, takes a little doing to get it off. You have to wiggle and jiggle it, but it will come out. To help reassemble this drive shaft, have the key in the on position. After getting it all together, started it up, and you can hear there's no hesitation, no rough idling. Took it for a little bit of a ride, the engine light went out, so it's a wrap. If you found this video useful, let me know by posting your comments down below, giving it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe. Until next time, stay safe.